in the studio live, Sports Desk basketball analyst and former national team player, the point laureate, Coach Ronnie Magsanoc. Coach Ronnie, happy holiday. Alam ko, it's a holiday. Thank you for coming here on the show. Good morning. Welcome back.
Salamat, Dre.
Coach, what a way to cap off that long and winding road to the FIBA World Cup. Medyo yung iba nawalan ng pag-asa after losing two games here at home. Kinailangan natin manalo 2 away. But ang dami nangyari. Of course, under Coach Chot Reyes, nagkaroon ng suspension of Kiefer Ravena. There was that brawl against Australia. How did Gilas overcome all of these adversities? Ika nga ni Magumar John, nakalusot tayo sa butas ng karayom at nakakwalify pa tayo sa World Cup.
Well, kung titignan mo, against all odds. But for as long as you have the right direction, kahit na merong turbulence na na-encounter, suspension, at yung mga player losses, 2 talo sa homestand, eventually, you have to move on. And in doing so, you set the right direction. The direction has always been to make it to the World Cup. Alam naman yung parameters eh. You try to win 2 at home, and surprisingly, hindi natin nagawa. Therefore, meron pa tayong 2 chances to beat Qatar and to beat Kazakhstan, and hopefully, land as a spot dun sa top 3 or as the best place, as the best 4th place finisher sa iba-ibang grupo. At pwede nating sabihin kaya tayo nakalusot dahil tamang direksyon. Pwede nating sabihin kaya tayo nakalusot, nakatulong si Andre Blatch. Pero kailangan din nating sabihin na yung leadership ni Coach Yeng Giao, napakalaking bagay yan. Of course, yung alignment sa direksyon na tamang sinet, of course, ni President Al Panlilio.
Coach, let's take a look at the closer look at this match against Kazakhstan. What were the keys to getting revenge? Alam natin ito yung nakatalo nga. Isa sa nakatalo sa atin here at home. Yung Zugulan, gumawa 30 points.
Yes.
Dito nun sa MOA, nalala ko. But this time around, we got revenge mismo sa Astana, sa Kazakhstan.
Totoo yan. Yung matchups, of course, number 1. Kaya may mga certain players na hindi nilagay si Coach Yeng. Meron siyang players na ibinalik. But of course, yung pinaka-impact player natin dyan ay si Andre Blatch. He has scored 58 points in the last 2 games. And look at the 41-point production against Kazakhstan.
Grabe.
At tandaan natin, naglagay ng naturalized player ang Kazakhstan, an NCAA Division I player, Anthony Clemens, who scored a lot. Of course, he's a scoring guard. He took away a lot of touches for Sigulin, but still mahirap kalaban. Dumikit eh. Dumikit, ang hirap iwanan. But Blatch was there, pampalakas ng loob, number 1, number 2, pambigay ng puntos, number 3, rim protector, number 4, rebounding. At maski anong sabihin mo, the mere fact na kasama mo siya, lalakas yung loob mo eh. Kasi may anchor ka, may pupuntahan ka, at higit sa lahat, alam mo yung kakayahan. He is of a different breed kasi NBA player eh.
Experience.
At he's played in the World Cup, he's played for the country, and his trumpet call prior to being called up once again for the national team, gusto niyang maglaro para sa atin. I think that speaks volumes on why we were able to succeed in the last 2 games with Andre Blatch in harness.
How about the locals, Coach? Lalo na nung nawala si Blatch kasi mga third quarter, 3 minutes to go.
Na-fall trouble siya.
Na-fall trouble, oh. How about nag-step up? Junmar Fajardo showing us why he's the reigning 5-time PBA MVP and yung ibang locals na nag-step up in the absence of Blatch against Kazakhstan.
And Andre Blatch was the first person to pay tribute to what Junmar Fajardo was able to do in the last 4 minutes of the third. Dahil third personal foul siya, hindi nawala yung lamang ng Pilipinas. Nung bumalik siya with 7 minutes to go in the fourth, lamang pa rin tayo. At Junmar not only scored 7 points in that span, but he created scoring looks for his teammates. He is a veteran campaigner in the World Cup. Naglaro na to sa 2014, kaya lang ibang role. Ngayon, mas veterano na siya, mas alam niya yung gagawin. Pero hindi natin pwedeng tawaran si Jason Castro. Of course, huwag kalimutan si Paul Lee, si Sio Lassiter. But overall, the roster that Coach Yeng Giao brought to Astana is the roster that he felt that would match up well against the team that beat us already. Kasi tandaan natin, sa homestand, pang ilang laro pa lang ni Coach Yeng yan dun sa mga national players.
Yes, yeah.
Ilang practice games, ilang linggo magkakasama. Dadating si Christian Standhardinger, maglalaro si Stanley Pringle, palitan pa. So, the longer that they play together and stay together, the better it is for them in terms of chemistry and understanding each other, which are integral components in a winning system.
Coach, now, 6 months to prepare. August 31 sa China ang FIBA World Cup. How should Gilas Pilipinas, Coach Yeng Giao, and our basketball program, basketball team, spend the next 6 months considering ang dami sa kanila? Siyempre, may PBA, not to mention si 30. If he makes it again, may UAAP pa pala.
Totoo yan. Well, normally, Coach Yeng is given about 3 weeks to prepare for the actual competition. Of course, as a national team coach, you want more time with the national pool.
Yes.
So a lot of that will depend on how the stakeholders in the PBA will give its support to Coach Cheng. And so far, he has been given a lot of players that he can choose from sa national pool. Napaka-importante kasi nun eh. Oo, dahil dito, from the initial roster that we faced in 2014, iba na rin yung mga katapat natin for 2019. Remember, this used to be an every 4-year competition. After 2014, every 5 years na ito.
Yes.
Ganon kahirap, ganon ka-importante mag-qualify. But the essence is, the draw is going to be important kasi once the draw is done, ma-identify mo yung kalaban mo. Then you can do your advanced scouting. That's one. Two, identify also and recognize who are the members of the national pool. And then take a look at the PBA playing calendar for this year. Kasi tinitigil natin yung pagtakbo at inaayon natin yan sa preparasyon ng Gilas Pilipinas. So, we talk about the shareholders, the Board of Governors, and then the PBA Commissioner, of course. Yung bigat ng support, yung amount ng support, yung tagal ng support. Dahil, alam mo naman, we are all in this together. Pero hindi magiging madali because these are not only elite basketball teams. These are the best in the world. At from 24, naging 32.
Yeah.
So, ganun pa rin yan. Kumbaga, sprint yan. Identify the draw, build your national pool, and then align it with the PBA program dahil yun naman talaga ang plot na dadaanan. Regarding 3D, he is the only collegiate player to be selected in the national pool. There will also have to be a decision to be made on that in case he is named to be a part of the team that will go to the World Cup. So, I'm sure that Coach Cheng will eventually say he'll cross the bridge when he gets to it. The important thing is we're headed to play in the World Cup.
And we're seeing reports, Coach Ronnie, that Andre Blatch may play as an import in the PBA as part of the syempre preparations for the World Cup. What are your thoughts on this? Na sabi mo nga, di ba, if nag-align, like, if the Commissioner, the Board of Governors, this will be good, di ba? If Andre Blatch gets allowed to play in the PBA as an import.
There will be certain collaterals to that kung mangyayari. I know that he has a contract with China, sa isang team sa China. Hindi lang natin alam kung tapos na. Pangalawa, will he play in the PBA as a legit import? Meaning, sa club team ba siya maglalaro? Or will the national team play as a group? Kasi ginawa na yan before kay Kuya Marcos Doutit. Ginawa na rin before, previous to that team ni Coach Raiko Torman. So, those are things that can be answered. O sasali ba sila sa umpisa o sa kalagitnaan as preparation? O aabot ba hanggang sa third conference as a team that will play na sandali lang, tas aalis na? Of course, the main thrust is para nandito na si Andre. Pangalawa, para masanay siya sa mga kasama niya. Pero, of course, that will always be an option. We have 6 months to decide on that. But only a couple of months to really make the decision dahil, couple of months, tama, ilang buwan lang dahil mag-uumpisa na yung after the All-Filipino Conference, papasok na dyan yung 6-10 and under na reinforced conference.
Coach, last time we were in the World Cup, we were talking about this during the break. This is Spain in 2014. 1 win lang tayo nun, 4 losses. What should now we do? Kung ano yung kailangan natin i-work on as early as now to improve on that finish and maybe even advance further in the competition?
Again, advanced scouting, of course, identify the national pool. Yun lang muna kasi
Yun
magagawa
lang muna tayo sa ngayon, no?
Hindi mo naman sila pwedeng pag-insayuhin na right now, although yun ang ideal situation, to prepare them for a competition which will happen in 6 months. Yun ang gusto mo talagang gawin. Pag gano'n na nangyari, talagang unparalleled, unheard of. But if it's not doable at this stage, yung mga bagay lang na kontrolado mo muna. Identify, of course, Andre Blatch, perhaps paglaruin sa national pool si Christian Stanhardinger still, para hindi naman bugbog si Junmar Fajardo dahil naglalaro itong lahat eh. So, the plot, the timeline has to be done this early because I'm sure in spite of the fact that we needed to win 2 games laban sa Qatar at Kazakhstan, meron na tayong nakaplat dyan. And I think direction is very important and of course yung execution. Kaya nga yung leadership ng SBP at ni Coach Cheng napakahalaga because yan din ang susundan at titignan ng PBA kung paano nila matutulungang mangyari.
Coach, maraming salamat. Always a pleasure and an honor listening to you, especially when it comes to the national team. Again, we just had Sports Desk basketball analyst and former national team player, the one and only point laureate, Coach Ronnie Magsanoc.